Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we're back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Monday, April 28th. Everyone else in the house is yelling, but that's okay. I'm still in Orlando. My flight leaves in a few hours. And we're here to talk about Celtics Magic, some other stuff around the league. And we'll get going. How you doing, Sam?
Doing good. They're up 3-1. Can't complain too much as I do love to just bitch and moan. Uh Pretty good mood. Up 3-1. If they were 2-2, it'd be a little different vibes on the pod today, but we have a fun show for you guys. We'll be chatting a little bit more about different Celtics things we've noticed through the series in game 4, whatever. We'll go through your emails quick and we'll go around the league, talk about the latest on the playoffs. If you're listening Tuesday morning, we are not going to have the latest on Rockets, Warriors, Heat, Cavs, because it is a travel day for the team down in Orlando. So they've got a 9 p.m. flight. By the time everybody's home, it'll be too late. But you got your apps. Just go see who won. Prediction is the Cavs have swept, and I don't know what's gonna happen in Golden State. That'll be a fun one. But anyways, leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're here every single day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday game recaps morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's start with Celtics. I don't know how much extra there is to talk about. I mean, obviously, Sam and I were texting before this. Like, I jotted some stuff down for the game, but these little like one game breaks are a little awkward because we just did a whole game recap in between the end of last game and obviously covering the game post games. So it's kind of like, what themes can you find, basically? Like, what talking points are there? Series heading back 3-1 to Boston, and I think the biggest thing for me is heading out of that game 4. It felt like the Celtics just controlled their own controllables better, because you look at game 3 and it is, oh wow, the Magic up their physicality. The Celtics turned the ball over 19 times, really 21 times, because the box score, excuse me, doesn't count Tatum's turnover and carry violation, which Terp told me about in the car yesterday. They also gave up 15 offensive rebounds. They gave up a bunch of free throws to the Magic. Game 4 comes around, they cut down the turnovers. They cut down the offensive rebounds they allowed to the Magic. They cut down the free throws they allowed. Like, they went back to playing Celtics basketball, adapting to the way the Magic were covering them rather than trying to match Magic basketball. And the ways they did that, which I'm going to try to make a TikTok tomorrow about, or today as you're recording this about, which who knows if I'll have time. 3 biggest things to me, and you can let me know what stood out to you. They pushed the pace better, and Jalen was a huge part of that, getting the ball up faster, even on makes, on misses, doesn't matter. It felt like the Celtics did a better job of, we are going to run and get the ball over half court at around 20 seconds rather than at 16 seconds, because that's what happened in game 3. And a lot more off-ball movement, whether it was screening for each other off the ball, whether it was cutting off the ball. There was a lot more happening outside of the individual pick and rolls. And then they also like sort of mixed up their pick and roll a little bit, like Horford sealing guys off, Porzingis slipping it a little bit earlier. So they made stuff happen there. But I think the pushing the pace and transition and the off-ball movement really turned a terrible offense in game 3 into something that was capable of beating the Magic in game 4.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Game 3's second half offense, it is static. It is 5 statues, including the ball handler, out there for the Celtics, and they did a good job of not really falling into that trap at all. There were a few of them in the second half, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't affecting the game, and it wasn't consistent enough where you're overly frustrated with the lack of movement for Boston. Um, I just thought Jalen was more determined in this game, and he was just more under control. You could really feel confident in him when he decided it was his time to get a bucket, his time to get to the free throw line, post up, and essentially do the thing Porzingis is usually really good at. And you mentioned Porzingis diving to the basket out of the screens. That was probably the biggest tweak that they made in terms of individual success through the smallest possible change, where they're just like, "Hey, just go a little bit earlier. Just really commit to going to the rim," and it got him going. And it's been a series where he hasn't been effective. He hadn't made a 3 before game 4, ends up making 2 of them yesterday. I think hopefully that will realign his confidence a little bit more to where it should be. People have been very critical of Porzingis in this series, and deservedly so, unfortunately. But another thing they did, not offensively, but they just were more attentive in what is the word? Oh my gosh, attentive determined, I guess, to close out
Intentional.
defensive possession. Intentional when they closed out defensive possessions, actually hitting the glass. All the big guys were boxing out. Cornette did a really good job of upping that from game 3. Horford was great in both the games down there, at least on the margins. So I think he has proven once again to be a tremendous leader for this team.
Yeah, it's like almost a mental game at this point because the instinct or the obvious, like, oh yeah, let's just do that, is to feed into what the Magic are doing and play a physical game, let your emotions get the best of you, and play physical back, right? Like, somebody pushes you, your first instinct is almost always, all right, fuck you, I'll push you back, right? That's like human nature. If you get pushed, you want to push back. It's fighting fire with fire. Like, it is very hard to fight that, especially in the run and gun, fast paced nature of a professional basketball game, right? Like, if KCP pushes you and he's standing right there in front of you, what do you do? Let me push him back. Fuck you. Like that is how it works. If somebody is beating you on the glass and pushing you around, your instinct is, all right, I'm gonna do the same to you. If somebody is, forcing you to speed up and like being really physical, you'll be like, all right, I'll take it to you. And the Celtics avoided that in game 4 after they kind of fed into it a little bit in game 3, it felt like. And so I think avoiding that trap was a big reason why they were able to flip the script a little bit and get the win. I also do think that the way they did it on offense prevented the turnovers. Like, rather than, trying to play the same offense they switched it up and played a more off ball, like sort of what we saw at the end of the season. Like, we saw them play a lot more cutting off ball stuff. I did a whole video on it, and you got to see some of that in the playoffs. And I don't know, man. This Magic team's a pain in the ass. Like, they are a very unbelievably good defensive team, and when you have a team that is so intentional at taking away threes and taking away the first reads that you want to make, like Jamal Mosley has prepared these guys to exactly take away what Boston wants to do. You need to find other ways to win, and they failed that in game 3, succeeded in game 4, and then I'm curious to see what the Magic do in game 5.
Yeah, I know we talked about it going into the series. The 3-point defense from Orlando has just been really like a boa constrictor. They just have forced the Celtics away and made them uncomfortable. I'm back. I made it back.
I don't know what that was. I think I
Thought you
had
really didn't like what I
StreamYard.
was saying.
I had StreamYard open on my phone because I made the room, and I accidentally opened that when I was looking at the injury report, and I think it like made me a solo layout. So apologies to the audio listeners who probably just got a quick 5-second like random audio. But as you were saying,
Orlando's done a great job of doing that and taking away from the Celtics. Yesterday in game 4, Boston kind of got after it earlier. They started shooting a lot of threes. They were just taking them if they were there. Like, there were some transition ones early in the game that you kind of scratch your head at, and you're like, maybe not the best 3-point look that they could have got. But ultimately, I think it helped them be more comfortable moving the ball later in the game, getting those 3-point looks, because it wasn't a high volume game of makes for them, but they certainly upped the attempts from game 3, and it just felt like a more natural offensive play game plan. I don't know why play style for the Celtics there. So game 5, they just got to keep understanding that Orlando is going to try and take them out of their rhythm and do their best to play a little faster to catch them out in transition, because Orlando's really committed to going on the offensive glass a bit more. If you can actually secure the rebound, it'll be pretty cool to get out in transition, leak out a little bit too.
yes. Before we continue, I need to tell you about Gametime, the best place for all your ticketing needs. Make sure to check it out this basketball playoff season, this baseball season, comedy, theater, concerts, anything you can possibly imagine you can find on Gametime. Download the Gametime app and go to gametime.co to check it out. Let me pull it up so I can show you some of my favorite features. I'm still in Orlando, so let's check out some things that are going on down here. If there's a game 6, you can check them out here. Maybe we hope these tickets don't actually happen if you're a Celtics fan, but you can see the exact view you're going to see from your seat. That's my favorite feature, so you know exactly what you're going to be looking at after you buy your ticket. You can toggle on and off features, so you can see the fees at checkout or your purchasing process. This fire symbol here means that you are getting the cheapest deal in the stadium. On top of that, you can get last minute deals with Gametime, which means you can save up to 60% buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Back to Celtics. Some fun stats. I saw you put this in here. I know Terp had a fun stat about Al Horford too, so I'll shout out Terp with that. But would you like to tell me this Jason Tatum stat you threw in here?
Yeah, so StatMuse put this out. Jason Tatum, at 27 years old, obviously has never missed the playoffs during his NBA career. He has now reached 70 playoff wins, which means he has now tied or surpassed a lot of the sorry NBA franchises. Like, he has as many playoff wins ever as the Nets, 2 more than the Clippers, 7 more than the Magic, 13 more than the Raptors, 32 more than the Grizzlies, 37 more than the Timberwolves, 47 more than the Hornets, and 48 more than the Pelicans, and very close to catching the Kings at 83. Technically could do it this year if they win a title. Exactly 83 is what he would have. The Wizards have 99 and the Nuggets have 107. The Nuggets may be a little bit harder to catch, but the other two are very much in the realm of possibility.
Nuggets will be harder to catch considering they are in the playoffs currently. I think Wizards and Kings are very catchable. Excuse me, for Jason Tatum. The Pelicans having 22 playoff wins in franchise history. I guess it's not that crazy because they were a very recent addition to the NBA. The Hornets having 23 is pretty embarrassing. And the Timberwolves having 33 might be even worse because they've been around longer. Those are some crazy stats. And it's also insane. The Raptors have 57 wins ever. That means 16 of them were in a single playoff run because they won a title. That is wild. Wow. Terp stat that he put out there as well, just for the sake of it. He did an article on Al Horford. Go read it. It's WEI. Al Horford held Franz Wagner to 0-5 shooting last night, and I think he held Banchero to 3 of 10. It was.
Yep.
Both Paolo and Franz are closer in age to Ian Horford than Al Horford.
I didn't even think about that. I had seen the defensive stats. By the way, Horford had a tremendous defensive game and he didn't commit a foul, which just tells you a lot about his discipline.
He didn't have a foul?
No fouls in game 4. So to play that great of defense on 2 guys who are star players in this league, Paulo is an all-star, Franz is very close. They're not scrubs by any means. They're good offensive players, and they're smaller and quicker than Horford is. To stick with them on the perimeter as they drive to the basket and not foul them once is so impressive.
Sorry, I had my mic down. I'm like baffled. I don't even know what to say about Al Horford anymore. Like it feels like there's nothing else that I can say that we haven't said for the
Dude
past
rocks.
4 years. He is incredible. Any other Celtics stuff? I know you put Knicks on here. Do you want to talk Knicks? I feel like we're almost cursing.
Let's not exhaust that. We have potentially, today will be game 5 for both series. We'll potentially have probably 3 days of content to fill. Let's hold off.
True. It's true. Do you have any other Celtics tidbits? I feel like us only doing 13 minutes on Celtics feels a little light, but
we'll do emails.
These days
I think we have some emails.
Oh yes. We haven't done emails in a while. I think you're so right. It's so weird doing these in these gaps because we just did spend 35 minutes talking about the game, just to talk about it again.
Today's
the
a
next
weird day. I mean, you got to travel. I've got things going on too, so it's a tough schedule.
It is tough. All right, let's do emails. We have a lot of emails. A reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. So you can check it out there. I'm just putting the timestamp down for emails. All right, first email of the day. We have RJ, the GOAT. I'll share a screen for the YouTube viewers. And RJ says, all-time all-time, all-fun team. Morning, folks. Watching Celtic City. Don't worry, no spoilers. Got me thinking about the players on the Celtics who always made me smile. Not necessarily the all-stars, but the all-fun guys. So here's my all-time, all-fun Celtic squad in no particular order. Walter McCarty, for someone who came up during the Patino period, he was a ray of sunshine. Happy when he took the three. Happy when it went in. Happy for his teammates. Just happy. How can I not have him? Aaron Baines, before there was Luke, Baines did his part to stretch the floor, rebound, defend, and enjoy what he was getting paid to play. That he was getting paid to play NBA minutes. He did all the little things and turned out to be big parts of winning. Kermit Washington, I love rebounders and redemption stories. Red traded him while he was serving his suspension for breaking Kent Benson's face and just asked him to come in and rebound alongside Dave Cowens. And he did. In a season that wasn't very bright, he and Big Ray did their best. Dave Cowens, speaking of the redhead, Cowens didn't do anything halfway, and that is always fun to watch. I even enjoyed his taking time off from the Celtics because it had stopped being fun. A valuable life lesson that. Rondo, I love players who have a healthy dose of FU built into them, whether this was his arm fake passes or him summoning playoff Rondo. Rajon had the ability to dial it up and show you up. What's not to love? Pritchard, see what I said about Rondo, but subtract the arm fakes and swap out some screw you 40-footers. Guys who everyone thinks of as overachievers, but are just guys putting in the work, are more fun for me to watch. That's my list. Who are some of yours? Beat well. RJ, I'll let you go ahead and share some of yours first.
Tice is one of mine. I really enjoyed
Okay.
Daniel Tice. Thought he was good in multiple stints with the Celtics. He was, of course, a big part of the finals team in 2022, playing backup minutes, and he was the starting center on the Eastern Conference Finals team in 2020. Just kind of came over here from Europe in 2018 and was nothing but solid for them. So I always enjoyed him. Thought he had sneaky athleticism and he could shoot the three a little bit, so it made him a fun offensive player. I would say he's one for me. I also enjoyed I feel like we all enjoyed Isaiah, but like he was special, so we'll go with him.
Yeah, I mean Marcus obviously is an easy one. Marcus is great. Jeff Green always has a soft spot in my heart, so I'll pick Jeff Green as well. But thank you, RJ. Next email we have is Isaac Melendez. Hey guys, hope you're having a great week. A great day. What head coach do you think will get fired if they lose in the playoffs? Oh God. Oh, sorry, I didn't share the screen.
See ya.
You think Doc's getting fired?
Doc's gone. It's gotta be gone.
I guess.
I mean,
Yeah. You almost don't have a choice.
Maybe he won't get fired, but I mean, we'll talk about this in a minute because we have notes on the sheet about the playoffs. But Milwaukee, I was watching the game last night as we recorded, and I was just like, it feels so much like this is the end for them. You know, they feel like they're dead. So I don't know if it's like Doc just steps down because he doesn't want to be the coach of a bad team, or they get rid of him as a last ditch effort to get Giannis happy. But I think Doc is my answer.
I think Doc's a good answer. I guess he'd have some struggles bringing him back after the disappointments in years. Then again, like Dame, like that's not really his fault. I don't know. I wonder if David Adelman or the Grizzlies coach.
Oh, the interim guys, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe they're just like, oh, this is not what we think is the best fit. Everybody else, though, it feels like the coaches are pretty solidified. Part of me wonders if the Knicks would fire Tibbs. I don't think so. But like you look around to these playoffs, and almost every single coach outside of the interims and Doc is a solidified. This guy has been great. The only other guy is maybe Chris Finch. But if they win the first round this year, and you're the first year past like a big cat trade, how can you really put on Chris Finch? Because like, listen, let me list the playoff coaches. Like, Mark Dagnall's not getting fired. The Grizzlies interim coach. Adelman, interim coach. Ty Lue's not getting fired. JJ Redick, I don't think is going to get fired after the big Luka trade midseason. I think like you just can't do that.
No, first
Chris
year.
Finch, exactly. Chris Finch, I talked about. Ime and Steve Kerr not going anywhere.
No,
maybe Jamal Mosley. I
don't think Mosley. Those guys are hurt and they're playing pretty hard. I think it's Tibbs too.
Tibbs, you're not going to get rid of JB. Doc, yes. Carlisle, Spoelstra, Kenny Atkinson, I don't see it. So I feel like it's just Tibbs, maybe Chris Finch, Doc, and then the interims. And I don't think any of those three outside of Doc is going to actually get fired.
Well, the Knicks really don't have much else they can change besides the coach. They're pretty locked into the salaries they have. They can make moves on the margins. They can hope some of the younger players develop a little bit to give them more depth. But the Knicks fans are not thrilled with Tibbs all the time, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I guess if he's just running guys, then it'll get exhausting. But all right, next email. We have a YouTube SEO email. Get the fuck out of here. And then next we have, is this 2 in a row SEO emails? What the hell, man? What the hell? That's not even my email. Celtics lose in Orlando, says RJ. So what? Hey, folks, so it won't be 16 straight wins. But look what happened. The Celtics didn't have Drew Holiday, get out, rebounded, committed 6 more turnovers at the Magic, had an ineffective game from Porzingis and Pritchard, while Hauser continued to be invisible, scored 34 points in the second half, and referees who couldn't do basic math at the end of the game. They lost by 2 points in Orlando. Take a deep breath, Celtics fans. It's one loss. That's all. Be well, RJ. Yeah, and I do think they
RJ was right.
responded well. He was right. I do think this Magic team, I said this when I was at Gatorland just now, which is a funny sentence to say. Before the playoffs, when I was very adamant that Magic would be a better matchup than the Hawks, I could not have been more wrong. And I'm going to own that. Unbelievably wrong. Hawks would have been a much easier series. That's on me.
I still think Orlando is like, think about how difficult they've made it on the Celtics, and they were almost swept regardless. Like, I don't think you were wrong to think Orlando was bad for the reasons why you presented, because you've been spot on. Like, their offense has been putrid to where the Celtics played maybe the worst half of the season, and they still almost won. That's how bad they've been.
I think I was thinking more along the lines of like how many games could they lose versus how hard would the wins be? Because I think wins could have been easier in Atlanta, but they would have maybe been at risk to lose more. But I don't think they'll actually lose to Orlando, but the wins are a lot harder to come about. So I think that's the part. Not that I thought they would have lost to Atlanta either, but just I think having that offensive dynamicism changes things a little bit. But next email we got, RJ says, the world's prettiest rock fight. Evening, folks. Sunday was the Celtics playing playoff basketball at its finest. First off, let's recognize that the only way Orlando gets close in the series is by doing what they've been doing, playing hard defense, running the C's off the three-point line, and fouling rather than giving up field goals. And even with all that, they needed the Celtics' help to get a win. In Game 3, the Magic got that boost and barely won. Game 4 saw the Celtics cut their turnovers from 21 down to 10, same as Orlando, but scoring 7 more points off them. Rebounding Orlando, which led to Sam Hauser's second 3-point for the game in the series, while KP got involved in the offense and early then managed to avoid a 6th foul. Jason and Jalen not only outscored Paolo and Franz 58-55, they out-rebounded them too, 25-13. Meanwhile, the part of Drew Holiday was split between 2 players. Ageless Al, the defense's pal, got the stocks with 5 block shots. And Peyton Pritchard played great defense against bigger opponents, pestering Paolo to the point where he helped Banchero take more field goals than he had total points. And while Pritchard's stat line was a meager 0-1-2, that one rebound helped to lock down the result late in the game, and he played 25 minutes with 0 turnovers. There's more to being 6-man than launching threes. Winning makes everything pretty. Sunday was a very pretty game. Be well, RJ, who hopes Tuesday will be another extra pretty night too. Yeah, I mean, it was a pain in the ass.
It was last night.
Got the job done.
They better not lose Tuesday. And you have more skin in the game than me because you're going to go back to Orlando if they do lose. But I really don't want to watch any more games against the Magic. It just is. I mean, how many rock fights do you really want to be in? We talked about it on the Game 4 recap. You got to get out of this series before you have more scars than you already have. End it. I agree. I think there were good things about Game 4. Obviously, they won. That's the most important. Game 5, just stomp them, please. Please do it.
Yes. All right. A couple more emails. Or last email, I should say, from Isaac says, now if the Celtics win the championship this year, do you think they retire Al Horford's jersey? Yeah, I think so.
I feel like it's probably going to get retired anyway.
I don't know if he just wins one. I do think it helps him that 42 is obscure enough of a number, but we'll see.
I mean, he's played more seasons here than KG, or as many. I forget.
It's true. Didn't KG win Depoy here, though?
He did.
Not that that's like the end all be all, but
I mean, KG was also debatably the best player on the championship team.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to be like, damn, I don't know.
It's iffy. It's iffy for sure, especially just because they have so many. But regardless,
I'm biased.
Let's talk about the rest of the NBA playoffs here. Okay, I'll let you pick the series we start with because we can jump around quickly before I know you got to go to ball because we had to record late because I was out. So apologies, but hit it. Where do you want to start?
We'll just go in the order of the sheet. Pistons, Knicks, 3-1 going back to New York. if it's Tuesday when you're hearing this, you've probably heard that people in Detroit are none too pleased that Tim Hardaway Jr. did not receive free throws at the end of regulation of Game 4. It was a no call. He pump fakes, kind of jumps into the defender. Josh Hart hits him on the way by. Whatever. You can't really leave it up to the officials. This series has been a lot of fun to watch. It's been my favorite non-Celtics series. Even like going into it, I was very biased. I like the Pistons. I really don't like the Knicks, so I actually have a rooting interest, which makes it way more fun. But I think the basketball has just been like extreme quality. Like it's been maybe not extreme quality, but the games have been quality. They've been competitive, and that's what you want in the playoffs. What sucks is the Pistons, this is going to sound like a biased take, are probably like 3 minutes of good basketball combined away from sweeping the series, and they're down 3-1. That's where they're at. Like they've played really
That's what
well,
matters.
except for at the very end.
Yeah, man, it's tough. Like that's at the end of the day, that is the series. Like you have to be able to close those moments, and that's why we talk about like, oh, it's a young team. It's a young team. Those are the moments where it's like that's the young team. This has been one of the better series. I really people knew it was probably going to be one of the better series. The Knicks just have better, more consistent offensive players. And then at the end of the game, I feel like when you need to make tough shots, that's a little bit more important. That said, Tim Hardaway Jr. was so blatantly fouled on that last 3-point attempt. The ref admitted it right after the game. Like you said, there's so much that goes into winning a basketball game before that like you shouldn't even be in that spot if you're the Pistons. Like you need to not be in that spot, even if you want to go like 3 seconds before. Cade got a great look. If you make that, it doesn't matter. But they did get hoed in the last second for sure. But regardless, it is what it is.
I mean, there's also something here where like that game was a fucking wrestling match. You cannot have a game where guys are allowed to maul each other and with a whistle. You just can't. It was the right call. It was the right no call. Whether it was technically a foul, yes. There were several plays both ways that were technically fouls that were not called. It would be unjust for that to be the ending.
It's just everything at the end gets so blown, not out of proportion, but like it's
on the microscope.
Importance.
Sure.
Exactly. Okay. Bucks Pacers. Bucks are dead. Sorry, Dame. That sucks. I mean, I think we both picked the Pacers coming into this series.
Yeah.
It took a 37 piece from Gary Trent to get one win. Probably not going to get that many other nights. This Bucks team's just not very good, man. They're not. And I saw a tweet that like spoke volumes to me. It said like the Bucks and Nuggets both really out here wasting Giannis's and Jokic's prime like that should be fine, like bannable by the NBA.
And they both got a title.
They both got a title, but like everything outside of the title,
fault. It's the CBA. Both these teams are playing Jenga with the roster.
Okay. I was talking about this, Bobby. The Nuggets have been cheap. The Bucks have been stupid. And there's a difference.
I mean, they have both made mistakes, but I think the panic. I mean, the Bucks traded Middleton for Kuzma this year to get under the apron.
The Bucks have made so many unbelievably bad moves. Ever since the Dame thing, every move they made is bad. Traded for Dame, lost defense. Hired Adrian Griffin, had to fire midseason, hired Doc. Let Malik Beasley walk for no reason. Had him on a minimum. And they're just like, we don't really want him. Let him go. Traded Middleton for Kuzma. Just like time after time, decision after decision, disaster class from the Bucks.
Oh, they haven't been good. But I think they just feel this weird pressure with the CBA, and Denver's the same way where they're like, man, we're just going to be stuck. We're a small market team. There's not a lot we can do, blah, blah, blah. They can't afford to get handicapped with all the restrictions, so they're just afraid of it. But it is so evident. Watching the game yesterday, it was so sad to watch. It was Giannis and then 14 guys like us playing. Like, he has no help, literally. Like, it is the saddest
Ryan Rollins
team
playing big playoff.
it is so sad to watch, man. It's brutal. Meanwhile, Indiana's playing really great team ball. They're moving the ball around. Doc's trying everything. He's running zones just because he's got so many weak links out there that he has to try and hide them, and they're just doing bounce passes around the perimeter to get open threes. They're so outmatched. Series needs to end.
Shout out to the Pacers, though. It's going to be a very fun Eastern Conference Finals. Clippers Nuggets has probably been the best series by far. I mean, I said it coming in. I thought it would be the best basketball, and luckily the entertainment value has lived up to the basketball part of it. Outside of the the dominant game 3 win the Clippers got, it's been, back and forth match after back and forth match after back and forth match, with the latest being an Aaron Gordon tip-in dunk that literally went down to like the frame-by-frame hundredths of a second to prove that he got it off. Unbelievable.
Not to derail this, just want to bring this up in relation to the Pistons. I'm nothing if not fair. The Pistons lose by 1. They have a Schroeder steal at the end of the third quarter that he passes to Tim Hardaway Jr., who dunks the ball as the buzzer's going off, and they're late. The basket doesn't count. That's 2 points that come off the board. They lose by 1. I mean, I can't feel bad for them. I just can't.
Yeah.
All right, back to the Clippers. I forgot to mention
no,
that.
it was bad. I saw the clip. No, it was bad. It was bad.
How can you be like, poor us, we got screwed? Like, you can't. We're all trying to find the guy who took 2 points off the board. Tim Hardaway Jr. or Schroeder, whoever you want to blame.
Yeah.
They're probably both to blame.
Clippers Nuggets, though, any thoughts before we move to the next?
Oh, yeah, that has been the best, like, neutral series, like, where I don't care who wins. Even though I'm rooting for the Clippers, like, I don't really care. I think the Clippers have been the better team in this series. They are, just like the Pistons, a couple plays away from this being a sweep. But they have been a better team than the Pistons have been. They have played more complete games. They fell victim to Russell Westbrook heroics in game 1, and then they have that Gordon miracle dunk at the end of regulation game 4. Game 5 would be must watch. Stay up late for it. Absolutely.
Game 5 is going to be very, very, very fun in Denver.
People saying great things about the wall.
I thought it was in Denver. Oh, no, Denver's the 5 CD, right?
Oh. No, it's in Denver. But
okay.
I mean, the Clippers home games have been really good atmospheres.
Shout out. No, that's phenomenal stadium. Lakers Wolves, Sam. I'm gonna let you go here because I know
it's a real shame. It's a real shame what's happening in this series. Who would have thought Luka would be a defensive weak link? There was discussion in the Celtics blog Slack today. I'm not going to name names. One, because I just don't think it's a serious discussion, really. Anyways, but it was like, who are you most afraid of to see out of the West if it's not OKC? And somebody said the Lakers. And I was like, how are you afraid of the Lakers? No.
Oh, okay.
How are you afraid of the Lakers? They have 5 guys that they're willing to play. JJ played 5 guys the entire second half of game 4. And one of them's Luka, who doesn't defend. Like, what are we talking about? I'm sorry. I'm not going to be afraid of Luka probably ever, because he probably will never be in a situation where he's going to beat the Celtics, like in a playoff series. Who knows if they'll get to the finals with him? They probably will someday. But right now, it doesn't feel very close. Meanwhile, Minnesota's getting all these like playoff riser performances. You have Randall actually making like impact in a playoff series. What? There's no way this is happening. Jaden McDaniels is a good offensive player. They're getting good Naz Reid minutes, of course, and Anthony Edwards has been fantastic. So,
yeah, man,
I really hate to see the Lakers lose. Everybody was like, watch out for the Lakers. It's a miracle what happens when you have no depth is you suck. See the Knicks.
The fact that he played all 5 guys in the second half is insane. What a ridiculous, and I mean, you do what you got to do. Just crazy. Shout out the Wolves though. Like you said, Jaden McDaniel's been sick. Naz Reid's awesome. Ant's been playing sick. Just having, I know, much to my dismay. But they're just having everybody step up on that team. So shout out the Wolves. Rockets, Warriors, and Heat Cavs are going to be happening, or they will have happened last night as you're hearing this, but we have not watched the next game of the series. So let's talk Thunder Grizzlies before
the Heat are dead.
Too quick. Heat are dead. Rockets Warriors has been great, but Thunder is wrapped already, so we can mention that quickly.
That was a sad series.
I don't know if you have anything like super.
Josh said he had them figured out.
But yeah.
He was like, if I didn't get hurt, we would be 2-2. I had them figured out. So sad for Ja.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, this is a bad week for Ja. Because now people are really starting to come down on him hard. And I mean, Scottie Pippen was good, but like just around the league, like all of the media talk is like, maybe he's not as good as everybody thinks he is, or there's stuff coming out like executives don't value Ja as much as they used to. Like all this stuff, like there's a weird feel around Memphis. Like there's a weird feel in Milwaukee. But I think they're like a year or two away of bad playoff results before it is what it is in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Noah's got her fucking high beam light over there.
The ring light?
I'm dark again. No, this is like a highway patrol. Like, this is the brightest ring light I've ever seen. That's ridiculous, dude. But then we got Heat Cavs and Rockets Warriors as the last two. Like you said, I think the Heat are dead. Jimmy Butler came out today, or Jared Weiss
He's
said,
playing.
but no, but he was like, "Yeah, we need Jimmy," which is like, you can't say that. Like, what are we doing?
Wait, Jimmy Butler said that. Oh no,
No,
Hero said
Hero
they
said
need
we
Jimmy.
need Jimmy, which is like an
Well, he's not on
insane
the
thing
team
to
anymore.
say.
Sorry,
Exactly. And then Rockets Warriors has
Jimmy
been
Butler's not walking through that door.
thoughts on Rockets Warriors. I mean, it's been a phenomenal series. I just think Steph is too much to handle, and with Jimmy coming back in that series, it's
Yeah, it feels like the Rockets missed a big chance at Game 3 to take advantage of Jimmy being out. Like they lose Game 1 at home, felt like they really weren't prepared for the playoffs just yet. They fell behind big time, then they punched back, almost made it a game, almost won. They win Game 2. Game 3 was the prime moment for them to make up for Game 1, and they just didn't do it. Now Jimmy's going to come back, and the Warriors have been so good with Jimmy. I feel like the Rockets are dead. It's probably going to go 6. I feel like they might win the Game 5 at home, but I don't have a lot of faith in them for the rest of the series. And, that's like, okay. I forget who said it, but you can just kind of take the numbers away from the seeds in the West and just accept it as a playoff series. Like, it's not your typical 2 seed collapsing to lose to a
yes,
7 seed. Like, both of these teams are good teams. It was a tough draw
yeah.
for Houston.
Yeah, and the Warriors getting Jimmy at the deadline changes everything about their seeding and everything. Like that's
Yes.
probably a top 4 seed if they're healthy and have the team all year. But and then Cavs Heat is that. You want to wrap there? And I gotta get a ball. Apologies. I'll make my apologies to the viewers. I had a busy morning. I literally fell asleep on the couch, broke my glasses because I fell asleep on my glasses last night. Like I was so dead tired, and I didn't write. I had to write today, and then we went out and did some stuff. So apologies for the shorter show. That one's on me, everybody. But yeah. Do you want to call it there?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
All right. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us how you're feeling going into Game 5. Subscribe and hit the bell. We're here every day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. And other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. We're also doing pregame, half hour before tip. Every single game we're here streaming. Come hang out. It's on our channel. It's on CLNS. Subscribe either way. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. All pods and recaps are up there. So if you want those, just follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. Email us hbtcpod@gmail.com. Big thank you to everybody who sent them in today. Sorry we didn't get to them until Monday after a very long week of recording in the playoffs. hbtcpod@gmail.com is the address if you want to send them in next time. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JacksMoneyNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are